Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome back to my testimony video of how God saved my life and gave me a second chance to live. That woman that God showed mercy after 7 years. Please, if today is the first time, don't forget to subscribe and be a part of this beautiful family. And in today's video, I'll be sharing my testimony. When I posted my delivery vlog, is it my no, not my delivery vlog, my going home vlog from hospital after giving birth, there was something I said in that video that I stayed 3 weeks in the hospital, and I asked you guys to help me thank God because God saved my life. And a lot of you guys were kind of worried, what happened, why did I stay 3 weeks in the hospital, what really happened, which I did not share that time because I planned on making a full video to tell you guys everything that happened. See, this life I'm living today is just the mercy of God. That you guys are seeing me, getting notification from me, is just the mercy of God. The devil almost took my life 2 days after giving birth. Like, there is no way I'm going to say it in this video, to say exactly what happened. I cannot even exaggerate it to the level of what happened. There is no way I'm going to say it, because if you happen to be in the hospital that time with me, which nobody was allowed except my husband, or maybe my family member, you were close to me at that period, you will know that I almost passed. Almost. My family, my husband, my parents, my very close friends were all afraid. In fact, a lot of people were afraid that I wasn't going to make it because of what happened to me. But the mercy of God came true for me, and God gave me a second chance, and that is what I'll be sharing with you guys in this video. When you are praying for something and God answer you, don't ever stop praying. Don't say, God have answered me, it is done, he has heard my prayer, let me relax. You know, don't get carried away. Don't ever stop praying, because the Bible says that the devil is a rolling lion. He never stops walking. He's always walking, going about like a rolling lion, looking for whom to devour. That God has answered you. Please don't relax. Keep praying. I have my baby here in case. That's why this hand is not shaking. So I gave birth on a Tuesday. It was through cesarean section, and it was in the evening. Everything was fine. Everything went fast. They brought me out. I was fine. There was joy because immediately I gave birth, we announced it publicly. Back home, here in our city, everywhere there was joy. From my husband's side, from my parents' side, my phone was bursting. Like, it was beautiful. So that night was just me, cuddling with my baby. Friends were calling, picking the calls I could. And that day passed. The next day, they came and lifted me up. After cesarean section, you don't stand up until the next day. Cleaned me up, and I was fine. I was like fine. In fact, I was on call with one of my friends, and they took my baby, the nursery, they went to clean her up. So when I didn't see her, like, was taking time, I managed. That was a day after, like few hours, let me say even few hours after giving birth, I walked from my room to the nursery to check for my baby, and they said that they are going to bring her very soon. That's to tell you that I was fine. Nothing was wrong with me. The cesarean section was successful. So that day was on Wednesday. I said I gave birth on Tuesday. The next day, they cleaned me up. I went, I was fine. So on Thursday, they came to check me, and they checked me and saw that I was fine, and they said that they're going to discharge me the next day, being Friday. I said, okay, that's fast, it's fast too. But I noticed something. From that Thursday morning, I was having pain. This part of my stomach, the left side, I was just having pain. So I complained to the doctors that came forward round to check me, and they tapped my tummy and said they think it's gas, and advised me that when my husband comes in the evening to see me, because he normally come around 3:30, that's the visiting time, that the nursery, I should call the nursery department to come and take baby, and he will help me walk around, that I will get myself. I said okay. But that pain, as the day was going, the pain, I noticed it was increasing. When my husband came in the evening, I told him I'm having pain this side. So we called the nursery department. They took baby Chimemela, and my husband held my hands, and we went out inside the hospital to walk around. You know, that was just 2 days after surgery. I was still in pain, so I managed to walk for like few minutes, and he brought me. Baby, can you joke about? Can you see in the video? Can man never use the video now? I'm trying to know you, baby. If you took whatever naked, you know, baby, I can't remember. I'm not from Canada. Meaning what? Yeah, the kid has me a yen. But in the baby, I don't wear benga, but man. Get me check out the. I'm not maybe joking. You couldn't buy. I want to be a little. So Kevin was the. So I walked around, and he brought me inside my room, and I laid down. That night we spent time together. When hubby left, I was fine. I was just having the pain I complained. But before then, I noticed that I had only farted once. Like I passed gas once. Immediately after my cesarean section, the next morning, I think in the midnight, I passed gas. But that was it. I didn't pass gas again. So when they came in the morning to ask me if I have passed gas, I said yes, which I had. But it didn't occur to me that it did not continue, that was the only passing of gas. I didn't pass again. It just ended there. So that night, my husband left. I was with my baby. I was fine. I was just having that pain, but the pain was, getting intense. Around 12, I slept. Around 12 midnight, I woke up feeling, that feeling you have, the feeling when you are in your first trimester, if you are sick, that feeling like you want to throw up, and feeling nauseous, you want to throw up. In case if you hear any noise, Nina is in the background. I'm going to call him to join me, because there's a part of this story he's going to share. Yes, so he's in the background. So I was having that feeling. I felt like I woke up, my tummy was turning me. I was, stretching on the bed. That was the feeling I was having. Don't forget that they were supposed to discharge me the next morning, and this thing was happening in the midnight. I was managing myself, trying to figure out what is happening to me. 30 minutes after waking up with this nauseous feeling, I started throwing up. I was throwing up every 15 minutes. I was constantly throwing up. It was the first time I started throwing up. The woman I was sharing the room with called the attention of the nurses, and they came, rushed me where I was throwing up, helped me, cleaned me up, brought me to the bed, and they thought maybe it's just throw up, normal reaction that you have after giving birth. But it continued. Every 15 minutes I was throwing up, and the more I was throwing up, the more weaker I was getting. I was getting weak. I was so weak. And around 2, I called. When it was not stopping, I picked my phone, I called my husband, and I told him, see what is happening to me, or I'm throwing up. And he was like, what, did you eat anything, this and that and that? I said, I didn't eat anything, no. We were just gisting on the phone. I was still throwing up. They tried everything they could that night to stop me from throwing up. Nothing worked. If they give me any medicine, I will vomit it. So we kept going. The next morning, some doctors came to see me. So they gave me a drug that calmed it for the moment. And I think few hours after giving me the drug, I started throwing up again. So another set of doctor now came into my room around 1 in the afternoon, and they said that there is something. They asked me if I've used the toilet. I said no. Passed gas, no, nothing. The only thing I was doing was just urinating. They said okay, that they brought pipe. That was when my pain started. They brought pipe and they told me that they are going to insert it through my nose into my neck, and they want to use it to see if they can unblock my stomach. I said, am I going to be sleeping? They said, no, you will be awake. Guys, my heart just left me. But at that point, I didn't have choice. I was so weak. I didn't know what was wrong with me, and I allowed them. As they were doing this thing, I was crying, I was screaming, putting pipe inside my nose down to my throat. Like, why I was awake was I couldn't, hold myself. And when they finished, this pipe was a torment. But one thing happened when they inserted the pipe. It actually worked because I felt like bowel movement inside my stomach. I think I passed gas at that moment immediately. And they said they were so happy. They said, okay, it has worked. And they said they are going to leave the pipe inside me. Like they planned leaving it for the next day. This pipe was choking me here, causing me serious pain. If I tried to swallow spit, it would choke me. Like, oh my God, I don't even want to remember that experience. I called my husband on video call, and when he saw the pipe inside me like this, the way they just, everything, he screamed. I told him what happened, and I begged him, baby, please come to hospital immediately. I need you to be here. If I'm seeing you, like if I'm with somebody, maybe I can be able to manage the pipe. My husband left everything he was doing, drove to the hospital. That was not the time he's supposed to come, but because of the situation, protocol was broken. He drove to the hospital and saw me. I was crying. I was weak. He called the doctors and asked them. They said that is the only thing they can do at the moment to see if they can unblock my stomach, because they noticed that everything was seized. They told my husband to encourage me to, allow the pipe. I should not remove it. Guys, I tried. I was crying. At a point, I couldn't hold it again. I was crying. My husband called the doctors and said, remove it. They said no. They were asking my husband, are you a doctor? Are you? My husband told them, but you can see that she's in pain. It's not even what she's passing through, but this one is pain from the pipe. It was the most uncomfortable thing I have ever experienced in my life. I kept crying. My husband was so angry. He was so mad. He asked them to remove it. I asked them, remove it. I'm losing it. I don't know what to do again. And after all the argument, everything, they removed it. When they removed it, I regained my sanity. Like, it was as if something was lifted from me, and I carried that pipe for like 3 to 4 hours inside of me. It wasn't easy, guys. So after they removed it, they started prescribing antibiotic. Meanwhile, they have stopped me from eating immediately that day. I was not eating. I was not allowed to eat or take water. I just gave birth. I was craving for a lot of things. They stopped me from eating, placed me on drip, and were feeding me with antibiotic through IV, trying to correct what to use drug to correct everything. Nothing happened. Nothing worked. In fact, every day it was getting worse. The doctors tried everything, like everything. Different doctors were coming to see me. It's not doctors that come in the morning that will come in the afternoon that will come in. Different doctors were coming to see me. Every day they will come with wheelchair, roll me out to go and do tests. There is no test, scan, everything to find out what was wrong with me. This doctor would come with this diagnosis, this tomorrow the other doctor will come with another one. Nothing. And if this doctor do their own, they will give me drug, the drug will not work. This person, they will call another specialist. This was what was happening. Nothing worked. In fact, the more they were working, the situation was getting worse. When I couldn't hold it again, my mom didn't know all these things. I called my mom on phone one day. One morning I woke up. I was walking, holding the bed like this. It was this because I was vomiting every day, so I'm always weak. I was not eating. I called my mom on phone. My mom and told my mom, "Mommy, see what is happening." Hey, my mom busted in tongue and began to pray and said, "Not in her watch, her own daughter. God forbid. Say, okay, this is what you people plan. Now that she's giving birth, you want to come and take her life." My mother started kabashing on the phone, started praying that everything will start working, everything the doctors will do will start working, that they're going to find solution, this and that. She started praying and she called all my siblings. Then I started calling all my siblings. Meanwhile, when this thing started, there is nothing like picking call. Well, I don't even know that my phone was existing. In fact, when my parents call me and I don't pick, they will call my husband. At the time, they stopped calling my line because I was not picking call. They were calling my husband. My friends were calling my phone. Is it somebody that is in this type of situation and will have strength to go and pick call? I didn't have any strength of call or anything. My friends, if they try reaching me, they will try to reach and I'm not picking, they will try to reach my husband because I was battling with my life to stay alive. Chimemela was under the care of nursery department at that time. They would just sometimes bring, when I have a little strength, they will bring her for me to bond with her a little and they will take her. I was so weak. I was looking at my daughter, the daughter I prayed for 7 years. Now I have her. I can't even spend time with her. I'll be looking at her, but I can't carry her. Guys, this was a very difficult time in our life. My husband was just running around. They call him today. Sometimes he will be at home. I will call him, run, come to hospital. It wasn't easy. So when they kept doing everything and nothing was happening, one particular day, 8 days after my cesarean session, I gave birth. In the morning, they came and they took me to, I don't know, I will try and write the name of the test again, the one that they will put you in, that something that is very round, one big machine. They will put you inside there, but before they put you inside there, they're going to give you injection, and that injection will make your body very warm. They will tell you before then that they're going to give you injection, and that injection will make your body very warm before they will put you inside the machine. Is going to scan from your head to your toes. Doctors will be inside reading everything about you. So they did it and put me there. I was feeling so warm, my hair everywhere. They did the test and brought me back to my room, and they told me I should not breastfeed. Meanwhile, I wasn't breastfeeding. They were coming to help me pump out breast milk and they were throwing it away because I was under antibiotic and baby cannot take it. My baby was just taking artificial milk. I was pumping breast milk but throwing it away. So after that day, they said that I'm not going to breastfeed until after 3 days. So after the test, I came to my room and I called my husband. I said we are done with the scan, and he asked me what was the result. I said I don't know because they have not told me anything. So around 3, my husband came and I was sitting with him inside the room. We were just gisting, talking. I was lying down, helpless, weak. We're just talking. What is the next thing? What are we going to do? And the doctors, we saw the doctors coming into our room with wheelchair, with theater cloths for me, everything with nurses. They came to where we were sitting and they said to us that they have tried everything as doctors. They have tried everything for me to be fine, for me to be alive. Nothing was working. That the only option now is to take me immediately, like right from, they are carrying me immediately. There was nothing like few minutes to think about it. That they gave me a paper to sign, that if I sign this now, immediately they are taking me to the theater. And that would be maybe because of what they saw through the scan I went for in the morning, that made them to rush me emergency surgery. My husband said, what? Another surgery? They said, no. Yes. What kind of surgery? They said it's going to be a major surgery, that they are going to open up where they opened me during CS, that particular place, and they are going to go in and see what is happening and try and clean inside of my stomach and see if they can correct what was wrong inside of my stomach, that drug cannot correct it again. My husband didn't even know what to say to me. He was just looking at me. I looked up. I looked at my husband. I looked at my baby. I looked at myself. I didn't know what to do. Whether to say yes or to say no. They were standing waiting for me. My husband asked me, what do I want? I said, I will go in. I will go in because I need to be alive because of this child. Like, I was ready to do anything to be alive and see this baby that God blessed me with. It was hard for me. I picked my phone, I called my mom, and I told my mom they are taking me into the theater for a major operation. My mom started praying. She said, Ozioma, the angels of God, before you get into the theater, they will be there waiting for you. She prayed on the phone for me, and after the call, I collected the paper from the doctors and I signed. As I was signing, they were removing my socks, removing all my clothes. They were dressing me immediately for theater. This one, they no time for me to. They were dressing me. They dressed me up, and my husband held my hands and we prayed together. Oh, we prayed together. And they carried me. They used to carry me because I can't even walk. I was so weak that I could not walk. They carried me into the wheelchair and rolled me out. As they were rolling me out, my baby was inside her cot, sleeping in that room. When they get to where my baby was, I looked at her and I touched her. I touched her. They allowed me. They stopped. I touched her and I held the bed with my hand like this. And as I held the bed, tears started dropping down from my eyes. Do you know why I was crying? I didn't know what would happen at that moment. Let me just be frank with you guys. At that moment, I didn't know what would happen. I looked at her and I started crying, and one of the nurses removed my hand from the bed and said that I should remove my hand, I should leave Chimemela, that I'm coming back to take care of her. One of the nurses removed my hand from her bed and started, shouting at me, "Leave her, Mama! Mama, did Chimemela leave her?" She was speaking Italian language, but I understood what she was saying. "You are going to come back alive to take care of your baby. You see your pretty baby, you will go inside there and you will come back and take care of her." Guys, I was speechless. I was just crying. I was just crying. I didn't know if I was going to come back. I don't know what will happen. Because at that moment I was so weak, so weak. I was crying because I didn't know what was going to happen, if I'm going to come out. I don't know. I was just looking at my baby and I said, I hope I'm going to see you again. And when I started crying, my husband lost it. He lost. This one is, there is nothing like a man again. My husband lost it and held me and started crying. Like, I saw my husband crying. He held me and started crying. And the nurses, held him, dragged him back, and me away. And as they were taking me, I was crying. I was crying because I have suffered a lot. I was just remembering everything I've gone through, from trying to conceive for 7 years, to countless painful procedures, to IVF that did not work, 3 IVF with all the pain, to giving birth now and going through all these things. And I don't even know what was going to happen to me. They took me, as they were taking me, they were talking to me, trying to make me happy, telling me that it's going to be fine, I'm going to come out and take care of Chimemela. And I started worshiping God, and I started singing, I'll put you in front of my melody. You are all that matters. You are all that matters. I'll make room for two. You and I, Jesus. You are all that matters. You are all that matters. Guys, it's not everything they did to me during these 3 weeks that I'm going to share here, because some are so personal. There were things, painful things they did to me that I haven't even shared with anybody, just my husband knew. It was so painful, it was so personal. In the course of trying to see if they can save my life, there were things they did to me that I cannot see. Things they injected inside of me, trying to revive me. So when they took me, we entered into the theater. If I'm not mistaken, we have up to 15 doctors. I know there are going to be more than, but for me not to make mistake, there are up to 15 doctors inside the theater waiting for me. It was an emergency surgery. They needed to do that surgery for me to stay alive immediately. As we entered, different doctors were working, searching somewhere. A lot was going on. I was just lying down looking at what was going. I look at this person, I look at that. I was just lying there helplessly, thinking about my daughter. Asking God, please give me another chance to be alive and enjoy this beautiful gifts you have given me. They asked me questions, all the questions they asked, I answered. They said, okay. One of the doctors that have been seeing me for some time is an elderly man, be the same age with my dad, the same age. He came to me, he saw how helpless, hopeless I was lying, and he came and touched my face like this and said, you will be fine. And around 4:30, I was put to sleep. That was the last time, because there was a clock that was facing me. So I'm going to call my husband to share what happened when they took me to the theater. He's going to share what happened with baby and everything that night.
To tell you the fact, I cried that evening. I cried that evening because
what was happening?
The reason why I cried was because the way my wife looked at my baby when we were about to carry her out. She looked at my baby, touched her, and one of the nurses told her, no, we are coming for a baby, don't worry, just let's go. So all those memories was going on my head. I was there praying that everything will be fine and good.
But by what time did they call you to come on?
And I think,
as when they brought me, because when the last time I saw, when they started putting me to sleep, was 4:30. That was when I was seeing double. I slept.
I was in the hospital from the time they took you to the theater. And I was asking them, when will I go and see you? Are they done with the surgery? They were still telling me, not yet. don't worry, you will go and see your wife. It's okay. Until it is about 9 or after 9 there,
Yes.
about in the evening. So that was the time they called me to come and see my wife.
I woke up around 10:35. When I opened my eyes, it was 10:35. Don't forget that I said that I was put to sleep around 4:30. So opening my eyes, looking at the time, it was 10:35. And waking up was a struggle for me. It was hard. My husband said that when he came to see me, when they called him that I was out, was around after 9, and they told him, because I was just there, I had a lot of things insected on me, machine, a lot of wires around me. So he asked them, when am I going to wake up? They said, I'm going to wake up the next day. And he was like, the next day, why? He said, okay. They said, okay, that if by midnight I've not woken up, that they're going to try and wake me. And my husband said he was so worried. So for me, so obviously after staying with me, he left, and around 10:35 I woke up. Waking up, guys, was a struggle. I battled waking up. Like, that's why I'm saying that me staying alive today, me being alive today, is just the mercy of God. Because I saw myself in a very far place. I was trying to wake up, I couldn't wake up. I knew that I was waking up, but I couldn't wake up. So it was like I was in a dream and my baby was crying. I was lying down and my baby Chimemela was crying, and I was struggling to stand up and carry her because there was nobody to carry her. As I was getting up to carry her, I woke up. So obviously my baby came to the theater to wake me up. Yes, this baby is an angel. Chimemela is my everything. She came to the theater to wake me up because it was her cry. She was crying and I was struggling to come and carry her, and I opened my eyes. When I opened my eyes, there was a nurse standing like this, using cold water to, I don't know if it's cold water, but just towel to tap my body, and a doctor was standing in front of me, inserting an IV here. Guys, you see all these things? Let me show you guys. You see all these things? This is needle. This is all these things, all these black spots you see. Needle. They used needle to design me. I had a lot of IV. My veins were collapsing because I have very tiny veins. It's always a war finding my veins. So going through all these things, my veins all collapsed. Finding my vein were so difficult. Sometimes when they are looking for my vein, two nurses will be doing it at the same time. One will be checking this hand, one will be checking, they will be piercing my hand. I will be screaming. It was difficult for me. So when I wake up, I looked at the time, it was 10:35, and I was feeling pain. I asked them, the only thing I was asking them, where is my baby? Where is my baby? Where is Chimemela? So doctor said, Chimemela is fine. Chimemela is fine. Don't worry, just relax, be fine, this and that. Chimemela. I asked them about my husband. They said that my husband left not quite long, that they are going to call him and tell him that I woken up. I don't know if they are the one that called him or my husband called in the midnight. One of these things happened. I don't know if they called him or he now called. So I was there. I was just feeling sleepy, pain throughout the whole night, and I also had pipe again inside my nose down to my throat. This one entered inside my stomach. It was so long. I was not eating, so I slept throughout the night. In the morning they came to clean me up, and that was when I knew that they did not just cut. They say they are going to cut. That is the cesarean section part. They also cut me straight like this. The cesarean section was like this, but this time they cut me like this from my belly button down, cut me, open the cesarean section part, and again put two pipe both sides of my tummy, and they were using it to drain out fluid from my stomach. Guys, I was in pain. They did not cut me, they butchered my stomach. Like, they opened everywhere. They said that they noticed that I had infection in my stomach that blocked a lot of things, and they think it's from the previous fertility treatment I had in the past. That was where they suspected I got it from, that it affected my tummy. So they had to go inside and clean everywhere, that the infection stopped all movements from my stomach, blocked everywhere. They went in, they cleaned everywhere, and so they started taking care of me inside the intensive unit. I was in intensive unit for 2 days. Guys, that intensive unit is not a place to be. You see people that they are hanging. Guys, it's not a place that somebody wants to be. People with critical condition. So 2 days after they came, I did the surgery on Wednesday. On Friday morning, on Friday afternoon, they transferred me back to the ward into my room. And that Friday, I thought they are going to lift me up. From that Wednesday, I have been lying down. My back was aching. I was screaming. So by Friday, I was already in pain. When they brought me into my room and laid me down again, my back, they said they are not going to lift me because I've been cut a lot, that it's going to take days. So it's not like CS that you do today, the next morning they will lift you up. Saturday morning, I was screaming down the hospital. I was calling my husband, tell them to come and lift me. My back is on fire. I need to stand up. And in the afternoon, they came and lifted me up. When they were lifting me up, they were asking, because I have 2 pipes here. They were asking me, is my head turning me? Am I feeling dizzy? So that if I'm feeling dizzy, they are going to put me back immediately. Guys, let me be truthful, I was feeling dizzy, but at that moment I said I'm fine, because I needed to stand up, because my back was aching me. And they lifted me up, cleaned me up. I sat down for like 10 minutes and I asked them to put me back into the bed. They put me back on my bed. And while I was in the intensive unit, the pediatricians came and took Chimemela. So she was now moved from the nursery to the office of the pediatricians. That was where she was. They came and took her, and they were taking good care of her. So from Wednesday, I did not see my baby. Thursday, I did not see my baby. On Friday, when they brought me to the ward, I was crying. I was begging them, please, bring my baby, I want to see my baby. And they agreed, and they brought Chimemela. She stayed with me. When I saw her, I screamed, Chimemela. They placed her on my body. I held her. She was just holding me, looking at me. I was looking at her. I spent like 10 minutes with her, and they took her again. It was a very difficult moment for me, staying without my baby. In the midnight, I used to wake up. If I open my eyes, I would be crying. I would be crying because my baby, I couldn't see my baby. I would be crying, Chimemela, Chimemela. There's one picture I took her when the day I gave birth to her. I would open my phone, I would be looking at that picture. I would just be crying, my baby, my baby. So when they took her that Friday, I didn't see Chimemela Saturday, I didn't see Chimemela Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. By Wednesday, I said no, I must, because I was not allowed to move. I've gone through a lot. They were scared that if I move, I stand up and move, I'm going to pass out. I've lost a lot of fluid, a lot of blood. I was not eating, I was weak. So by Wednesday, I was crying. I went there. When my husband came, they said my husband should assist me to go to where Chimemela is, and I will see Chimemela. My husband took me. If you see how I was walking, it was just the heart of a mother. I was almost passing out, but I was trying to be strong so that they will not notice and say that I should not go. I was just carrying myself like this, carrying myself, and I went there, and they brought Chimemela, and I screamed. I carried her. It was so beautiful. I cuddled her. I was just kissing her. I was able to breastfeed her. I breastfed her. I spent time with her. It was just so beautiful. I was just crying throughout staying with Chimeme. I was crying. I was looking at her. She had dry skin. They were not moisturizing her well. You know, now they are using their own pattern of cream, so my baby's skin was just dry. I looked at her skin. I was crying. I was just like, if I was strong, I'll be taking care of my baby. But look at, I can't even take care of my baby. And after spending time with her, because of the way I was walking, they said that if I have to come here again, that I should tell them to bring me with wheelchair. I'm not strong. I said okay. And on Thursday, being the next day, they brought Chimemela back to my room. Obviously, I was, a little bit stronger. I saw them when I was eating in the afternoon. They brought Chimemela, and when I saw the nurse coming, I saw pink, paper that they used to write. I asked the nurse, is it Chimemela from afar? She said, yes, it's Chimemela. I screamed, and she saw me eating. She said, okay, she's going to take her back. When I'm done eating, she will bring her. Guys, I just dropped everything. I said, I'm done. She took Chimemela, but I couldn't eat again. I was just sitting there looking at the door, waiting for her to come. And later she brought Chimemela. It was so beautiful. That the doctors that did the operation came and saw me and asked me how I was feeling. I said, I'm getting better. And they said that they are ready to discharge Chimemela. Chimemela will be going home because there is no reason keeping her in the hospital for 3 weeks when there is nothing wrong with her. I said, no, I'm not going anywhere without, my baby is not going home. I'm going to stay. If I have to stay in this hospital, I'll stay with her. If they are discharging Chimemela, I'm going with Chimemela. They said I'm not strong, this and that. They said that my husband will take Chimemela, will look for, make plans for someone that will help him and be taking care of him. I cried. I said no. The doctor now said I should promise her that he's not discharging me because I'm strong, but because I don't want to be separated from my baby, that he's going to discharge me. But I should promise him that I'm going to be on bed. No movement, nothing, don't shower, nothing. Just because I'm not strong. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to walk around. I'm not going to do anything. But just discharge me with my baby. I can't afford staying in this hospital without my baby. And it's not as if I have my biological sisters here or my parents here. I don't have any family members. I only have friends. That is the only people I have. Our parents are not here, so I can't. So he said, okay. He said he discharged me. I should be coming to hospital every two days. My husband should be bringing me to the hospital. They have to monitor me every day. And they discharged me. That was the video you guys saw me. See, me going home was not because I was strong that day. It was because I can't stay without my baby. I've been separated from her for days. They took her. I couldn't see her. So leaving her again is going to shatter my heart. I couldn't. So I summoned courage and I went home with Chimemela, and that was it, guys. Every two days my husband was bringing me to hospital. I had what they used to sew me was iron, was not straight, iron. So after 7 days of coming home, they brought me back to hospital and they removed the iron. It's going to be another story for another video, not today. But at the end, God gave me a second chance. God showed me mercy. The plans of the devil did not work. That was the reason why I did not vlog the first few weeks of coming home. The videos I posted was just, picking clips, because I don't know what is camera. In fact, some of my friends that wanted to come around that time, the ones that will understand, I told them openly, please don't come now when I'm strong enough, because the only thing I'm doing is lying on the bed. You can come so I can get to spend good times with you. The weekend we came back, we didn't tell anybody. The only people that knew that we are coming back were those friends that told us while we were in the hospital, if you people come home, we have already cooked for you. Let us know, we are going to bring the food. Those were the only people that knew. Other people didn't know. We needed to just chill, because I was not fine. They did not discharge me because I was fine, but because I needed to be with my baby, and I insisted. So that weekend we did not tell anybody. It was the next anyone that we are back. It was the next week we started calling people that were asking what is, because a lot of people were confused. We told them that we were back, and when I even started entertaining visitors, was when we moved into this house now. Here I now started telling my friends, you can now come, now I'm fine. It took me time to be able to walk around well, guys. Forget that I was just trying to be strong. I went through a lot. I went through pain. I can't even share everything that happened in this video, but this is me telling you guys that me being alive, talking to you guys today, is by the mercy of God. The enemy almost took my life, but God gave me a second chance. 2 major surgery under 1 week, under 2 weeks was no joke. But today I'm fine. I've bounced back. I've not fully recovered, but I'm doing better, and I'm happy to be alive, to do this life with my baby, with my husband, with my parents, with my loved ones. I'm just happy. So this is what happened. This is why I stayed 3 weeks in the hospital. Help me and say thank you, Jesus, in the comment section for keeping Ozitochi alive, for giving me the opportunity to stay alive and take care of this baby. Help me and say thank God, because what the enemy plan was for night to come and tell you guys that we lost the devil, not me. That was what, because when the doctor told you that they have done everything, they don't know what to do again. But Jesus said, no, mercy spoke for me. The mercy of God spoke for me, and I'm grateful. I'm happy to be alive. I don't take this life for granted again. I'm living my best life. If you see me dancing, if you see me celebrating, being happy, know that I deserve it. I've gone through a lot, and it's my season to be happy. I don't want anything that will stress me. I don't want anyone that will stress me. I just want to live my life and be happy and enjoy this second chance that God has given me, because by now I would have been forgotten. Yes, if not because of God. And people will move on. Life will be going on. But thank God I'm here with you guys and I'm alive. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. One thing I want you to learn from this video is, even when God has answered you, keep praying. Never stop praying. At this moment, I'm still praying. I've intensified my prayer because I now know that the devil never stops working. So keep praying, keep praying. Hi fam, so my battery went off, my camera died, I couldn't continue again, and I needed to take care of my baby. That's why I ended the video there. Maybe in the next video or in future videos, I'm going to share what happened when we came home, because a lot happened. It wasn't easy for the first few weeks. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have liked this video. Please, if you haven't liked this video, this is me celebrating life, thanking God for being alive. Leave your comments in the comment section. Help us and appreciate God for the gift of life and everything He has done. Share with your friends, share everywhere, so people that are going through difficult moments will know that there is nothing God cannot do. No matter how difficult it is, He will always bring you out and come through for you. Subscribe if you haven't, and we're going to see you in our next video. For now, bye.